Hello, gentlemen.
Hello.
Good evening, Evelyn.
Hey, Lane, hadn't seen you.
Just showed up.
Oh, okay. And Donovan?
Hello, greetings, everyone.
Hello. Hey, everyone.
Hello.
Okay, we're gonna start the roll call again. Ms. Chavis,
Here.
Mr. Edwards,
Here.
Mr. Bissett,
Yes.
Mr. Sharp, Mr. Dunton,
Good evening, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Jenkins,
Here.
Mr. Silver,
Present.
Ms. Washington,
Here.
Ms. E. Bullock,
Here.
Ms. S. Bullock.
Here.
This time I will entertain a motion to adopt the agenda.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Bissett,
Second.
second by Mr. Jenkins. All in favor, Ms. Chavis,
Yes.
Mr. Edwards,
Yes.
Mr. Sharp, Mr. Dunton,
Yes.
Mr. Jenkins,
Yes.
Mr. Silver,
Yes.
Ms. Washington,
Yes.
Ms. E. Bullock,
Yes.
Ms. S. Bullock.
Yes.
Motion was unanimous, other than Mr. Sharp not present. At this time, the awarding of the bid for the new Red Oak Elementary School, Mr. Davis.
Good evening. First of all, I'd like to give a little background of events over the last couple of weeks. We had to move the bid opening date back a week because contractors were starting to give notice of lead times on having steel delivered to the site. Some of these lead times were up to 10 months long. This has forced us to move substantial completion date from May of 2022 to November of 2022. We will move the existing Red Oak staff and students at the end of the first semester. We will then demolish the building and start working on the stacking lanes and parking area in front of the existing school. We will then move Swift Creek and Cedar Grove kids once school is out in June of 2023. This will limit disruption during the school year. This time, Mr. Rod Malone wants to discuss the legal aspects of giving a notice to proceed on just the steel before we give final notice to proceed on the full project.
Sorry about that, Shannon, for scaring you a little bit. I am here. Yeah, so one of the issues that we have been trying to deal with is figuring out how to get the project started and moving prior to the county closing on financing. So the county's expected to now close on the financing in the middle of April. They go to the LGC in the early part of April, but as you just heard from Shannon, steel is a major issue on this job and across the country and really the world. So we are have been working with county staff to get some assurances that if we tell the contractor to order the steel sometime following the board's action tonight, assuming the board approves the contracts, to make sure that if there's an issue that causes the project not to close, I mean, the financing not to close for whatever reason, that the county will reimburse the school system any expenses that the contractor may have related to the steel. Now, we are going to be reaching out to the contractor over the next couple of days to try to get an estimate on that so that both the school system staff and the county staff will know what we're talking about. But assuming it's in the range that the county commissioner chair believes it'll be, we are optimistic that they will authorize this to proceed. So we would be seeking from the board tonight approval of the contract, authority for the chair and the vice chair. I'm sorry, the chair and the superintendent to enter into the contract, and authority to provide notice to the contractor to order the steel. But that is conditioned upon us getting confirmation from the county that they'll reimburse the board for that expense in the event that there's an issue, which will also mean that we'll also need to get some estimate of that expense from the contractor.
Okay. Bid opening was conducted on March 2nd at 3:00 at Nash County Public Schools Administrative Building. The following contractors submitted bids: Barnhill Contracting, Daniels and Daniels Construction, HG Reynolds Company, Monteith Construction, TA Loving, and Wimco Corporation. The attached bid documents show HG Reynolds as the low bidder in the amount of $16,864,000 after accepted alternates. The fiscal implications: Nash County Board of Commissioners will be funding the project through a $10 million matching grant from the state and $10 million from the Nash County for a total budget of $20 million. The superintendent recommends the board award and execute the contract to HG Reynolds Company for the sum of $16,864,000.
Any discussion? Any questions?
I have a question.
Okay.
Has this company built a school before?
Yes, they have.
Okay. And it turned out okay?
Yes,
No
after,
issues with it?
no, ma'am. All of these companies were pre-qualified prior to the bid process.
All right, thank you.
Any other questions?
Um,
Darn. Excuse me.
I've got one for Mr. Davis, and this is probably more of a macroeconomic question than a specific to our deal. But I mean, just as what you and Rod just covered, I met with a GC this morning just in doing business that deals strictly with steel, and he talked about prices doubling. I mean, how do we realistically build a school that we need, that we know we have, when prices are going through the roof?
I think that is the importance of this notice to proceed on the steel, so that this contractor can lock in their price before steel does escalate even further, and make sure that we're getting in line so that we can get the steel delivered when we need it.
We don't run the risk of, I guess, not being able to provide the scope, not being able to provide, I guess, just the level of amenities and square footage, basically, I guess, that we need based on what we're doing as cost rise.
What, I didn't catch all of that, Lank. It was like,
Yeah, I'm afraid we get into this and when the cost starts going up, we can't build as much school, or we have to cut here or use materials that we don't. Again, this is not maybe a question as pertinent to this discussion, and I can circle back with you. I guess I'm trying to wrap my head around being able still to deliver that product that we all want to deliver for these students when the price stands to double where it was 6 months ago.
Right, but that's a great question. But and Shannon, you hop in. But right now, the steel price that's in the contractor's bid is a good price through some point in March. And that's why we are reaching out to the county to be able to give the contractor notice to proceed with ordering the steel while he can get it at that price. If we were to delay the notice to proceed with the steel, then we run two risks. One, that the price would be more by the time we asked them to proceed with the steel. And two, that delivery would be delayed beyond when we need it. So that is what Shannon is proposing is to keep us in a spot where we can get the steel at the price that's in the bid. So if we can do that, we should be fine. If the county doesn't agree to allow us to order the steel early, then what you just described becomes a very real problem, because the steel's about $1 million roughly, of the $16 million project cost.
And like, that's part of the reason we had a special call meeting tonight, because the county commissioners have a meeting Wednesday. And we wanted to clear up our end before we could even proceed any further. And I knew the April 15th meeting would be too late.
and also the base bid of the 16 million does lock them in. I mean, this is, once we sign that contract, they're locked in to build that campus for that cost, minus changes.
Thank you.
Any other questions? I will entertain a motion to approve HG Reynolds as the bid for the new school at Red Oak Elementary. There's a motion moved by Mr.
Second.
Second by Ms.
Jenkins, I think he said it.
I said it.
Ms. S. Bullock.
No, Chavis.
Oh, Ms. Chavis. Motion by Mr. Bissett, seconded by Ms. Chavis. Roll call vote. All in favor, Ms. Chavis?
So I'm
Yes.
sorry, Franklin, before you do this, are you going to do multiple motions, or you want to do one motion to cover everything?
One motion to cover everything.
All right, well, then the motion would be to approve HG Reynolds as the contractor, to authorize the chair and superintendent to enter into a contract with HG Reynolds, and to authorize giving notice to proceed with the purchase of the steel, that part being subject to the commissioners agreeing to reimburse the board for that cost. So it's a three-part motion.
Okay. All in favor, Ms. Chavis?
Aye.
Mr. Evans?
Yes.
I'm a yes. Mr. Bissett?
Yes.
Mr. Sharp not here. Mr. Dunton?
Yes.
Mr. Jenkins?
Yes.
Mr. Silver?
Yes.
Ms. Washington?
Yes.
Ms. E. Bullock?
Yes.
Ms. S. Bullock?
Yes.
Motion carried unanimous for all the people that are here. Any other questions at this time? Mr. Davis, while we have all the board together, could you give us a little update on the field house at Northern Nash High School?
Well, Northern Nash is the only high school left without a new field house. I would like to be authorized to move forward on an RFQ at some point in the future for design services, so we could move forward on that. We've done some preliminaries, but we're to a point now where we need to be authorized for money to be allocated to move forward.
Okay. Any other questions? You asking for that, no?
How much money?
Any other questions? I will entertain a motion to adjourn. Motion by Mr. Bissett to adjourn. Do I have a second?
Is Shannon asking us to do something?
Right.
Second by Mr. Dunton. All in favor, say,
Whoa,
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 whoa.
whoa, ho, ho.
they're asking, is he asking for a motion?
Is Shannon asking us to do something?
No, that was for information only. That's the update.
Okay.
That wasn't an agenda item. That was just a question while we had Mr. Davis here and we had all the board here before the April 15th meeting, we could get an update on the field house. All in favor of adjourning, say aye.
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 All opposed likewise. Motion carried. Meeting is adjourned.